Hello YouTube, this is CraneProductions27 here with another review. This time it's for the Great Race movie. Now, when we first heard about the Great Race movie, we heard that there was going to be about 13 new engines in this movie. Now that was all very exciting. What made it even more exciting was the story it had, and not just the characters, but where it was going to be held as well. The Great Railway Show. Now that was something very, very exciting to put in, and a lot of hard work into developing the engines for this movie, as well as creating the area where the Great Race and the other races were going to be. I think this film has to be one of the best Thomas specials I've ever seen. Now, the storyline. It was an absolutely good storyline to use, and the plot, it was understandable, and I thought it was actually fitting, very fitting to Thomas, because Thomas is wanting to take part in the Great Railway Show. He doesn't know how, so he tries everything he can think of to try and go there. Unfortunately, his ideas don't work as well or as quickly as he hopes it would, and his ideas get put to other engines, and then along comes an engine called Ashima, and she actually helps Thomas to realise that just being himself is the best thing he can be to try and achieve any great goals he wants to go for. And then he finally gets a chance to go, but he ends up having an accident, but then goes to the steamworks, and then when Victor finds that Gordon is in trouble after not having a quick or complete fit up or reassemblation, I don't think that's a word, I just made it up, sorry. Thomas goes to take the part to Gordon and ends up racing all the way there. Now, I think the songs in this were absolutely incredible. They were written well, performed well, and the voice cast did an absolutely fantastic job. Will You, Won't You Take Me to the Great Railway Show? Diesel full of surprises, Thomas streamlining, and Ashima's You Can Only Be You. They were spectacular. Now, Will You, Won't You Take Me? Now that song was amazing in one way. Lots of other different engines got to sing as well. Even some background engines like Stanley, Norman, Stafford, Scruff, Charlie, Bell, Flynn, Daisy. The small railway engines came up as well. I didn't expect them. And I didn't expect Stephen to sing a line either. Streamlining. I loved John Hassler's singing and performance in that song. Part of me, he was thinking until, well, I didn't discover it until later on, that streamlining sounds a bit like, well, not exactly, but it must have been inspired by Grease Lightning from the film Grease. And then, full of surprises, Diesel song, that was done very well. Kerry Schall really did a fantastic and a superb performance on Diesel's singing. And Diesel's plot in the storyline, I could just feel a bit of Dick Dastardly in him. Diesel, Paxton, Den and Dart, they just felt like the famous Vulture Squadron from Dastardly and Muttley in their flying machines. And, well, Diesel acted like a Dick Dastardly character. Paxton was more like a Muttley. And Den and Dart were sort of like Zillion Clunk. I don't know which of them goes with which. But it just looks like Diesel was being his absolute devious self. You can only be you. What can I say? Tina Desire, I don't think I pronounced her last name right, but she sang absolutely so beautifully. I don't think I can find anyone else to voice Ashima than her. She has got her voice. Tina's got Ashima's voice, character and personality spot on. She's got the voice right, she's got the singing right, and she knows how to play Ashima right to the I don't know how to put this. Let me rephrase that. She knows how to play Ashima very well. Well, she's got her to a T. I think that's how you say it. The other songs, The Shooting Stars Coming Through, that was a good song. That was sort of like Thomas's streamlining song. And Be Who You Are and Go Far, that I could not stop loving that song when I first heard it. I even sang it when I left the cinema after seeing it, because that song had to be my most favourite, because it really shows or teaches people how to be yourself. Be who you are and you will go far, because if you believe in yourself and be the person you are, you can go on to great things. We can all do that, and we will all go on to great things no matter what we do. We just have to work hard at it. It's a long road, but they do say it's not the destination that counts, it's the journey. The characters. I thought the new characters were a good bunch. There was some I didn't take quite a liking to, but they were all good. My favourite ones out of the new ones were Ashima, Axel, Gina, Frida, Rajiv, Yang Bao, or Young Bao, however you pronounce it. I like Flying Scotsman, and I think Raoul was a very good character, and so is Ivan. Now Vinny, I didn't quite like him because of the way he treated Philip, but Vinny and Philip's part was, I thought, written out good, and John Schwab did Vinny so very well. He knew how to make Vinny look like a villain. Very good job, John. Now, time to go on to the flaws, downsides of what I thought. I was just disappointed that in some of the songs there were other engines that could have taken part in singing as well. Let me see. Well, first of all, I was actually hoping for Rosie to have a singing role. Sadly, she didn't turn up in the Will You Won't You song. Whiff could have had a singing role. Also, my opinion, I spoke to one of my friends about this, and I said, when Charlie, Scruff and Stafford go past James singing their lines, I think Rosie could have taken Scruff's place. I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's just what I think. Like I said, Rosie, Whiff, Toad the Brakeman, Mavis, who else? Maybe Den and Dark could have sung. Victor and Kevin. Hero could have sung as well. Maybe Connor and Caitlin. Millie could have sung as well. And what else could I think of? There was a scene where Annie and Clabber were telling Thomas off for leaving them in the siding. Thomas did apologise, but I just think that Annie and Clarabelle could have at least apologised to Thomas, because even though Thomas did apologise, Annie and Clarabelle know they can't just speak to Thomas like that and get away with it, because I even know this. If you scold somebody or have a go at somebody, or give them a stern look and give them a bit of attitude, you can't really get away with that. What else? I was disappointed that some of the international engines didn't get to speak at all. They got mentioned, but they didn't speak. Yong Bao didn't get to speak. Rajiv, Shane, they didn't speak. And I was looking forward to hearing Yong Bao speak because he's becoming one of my favourites. I was very amazed that Rob Rackstraw got to voice Axel, Etienne, Ral, and I think he also voiced Yong Bao as well, because at the scene where all the international engines are going back to the ship after they've realised they've got off at the wrong stop, you hear an engine go, "Oh no!" I'm pretty sure that's Yong Bao, because you hear that before Ashima goes, "I'm coming, please wait." I don't think I can find any other problems with the film apart from what I've just said. Also, there are a couple of things about the Great Race I think I really need to talk about. For example, the scene where Thomas jumps over Vickerstown Bridge. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews, and some people were saying that scene wasn't quite as good as they thought it would be, but I thought it was, because I think part of the title, The Great Race, is supposed to mean Thomas actually is in a race to get to the Great Railway Show before the unthinkable happens. And Thomas is willing to do anything he can to get there without having to stop. So him jumping over the Vickerstown Bridge is something like you see on Die Hard or Terminator, or maybe something that involves a motorbike. And then Thomas nearly ending up in a collision course with Connor, Hero and Sydney. That, I thought, absolutely played out very well. And the signalman fainting at the end, well, that was funny. It just goes to show that Andrew Brenner and the rest of the writing team can actually write something very decent to this, especially when they know how to make that work. There is one thing I do sort of regret about The Great Race. It's about nothing to do with the film, but it's the fact that I wish I could have gone to see it more times than I wanted to. I had wanted to go and see it as much times as I could, but you see, at the time when The Great Race was on at the cinema, it was on around the time when I was actually doing or attending both my nanny's funeral and my mum's funeral, God bless her soul. And so on the day of Mum's funeral, I did think about going to see The Great Race in the morning, then going to Mum's funeral in the afternoon, but I just couldn't bring myself to go to View or Odeon, as my feelings for Mum were very strong. So unfortunately I had no choice but to say no to The Great Race that day. I suppose you can't blame me for that, seeing as my mum's funeral was much more important. All in all, I think, to me, it has to be one of my most favourite Thomas films. And you're probably wondering, do I think it beats last year's special, Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure? And my answer to that is yes, it does. It beats Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure because there are more characters, there are songs, there's a lot of interaction with the other engines, and very surprisingly, the characters break the fourth wall. Diesel did at one point. can't remember who else did. I think Ashima did when she sang You Can Only Be You. James did when at the Washdowns. Sid Paxton, Porter and Salty at the Docks. Cranky, Stanley, Edward, Norman and Duck. Well, I think that's all I can possibly say on this special. So I recommend you actually purchase this special, watch it, and you will love it, because I don't think you can find any other the summer special to beat this one, because to me it does. I'll just say that I really do hope that Ashima comes back. I also do hope that some of the other international engines come back as well, because I would like to see Ashima, Axel, Rajiv, Yongbao, Gina, Ivan, Frida. I wouldn't mind seeing Vinny come back, but I think it's maybe because you have to try and find the good storylines for them to come back to Sodor, and maybe one day they will come back. So let's just pray and hope that they do. That's all I've got to say on this review. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the special when you get it, and see you soon. Goodbye.